When clients come to me comparing river cruise brands after researching some of the more than 1 dozen English forward brands, one of the most common things that I hear is, I love Scenic and what they have to offer, but I'm not sure that I want to spend that much. That's usually when I introduce them to Emerald, and it's usually a brand that they may have heard of throughout the research. It's the same parent company, the same commitment to quality, but a completely different experience and at a completely different price point. So today I'm going to be sitting down with an insider from Emerald to break down exactly what you get and honestly give us a comparison, what surprises people, what surprised us when we sailed on this itinerary ourselves. We've been on both Emerald and on Scenic in the span of several months period of time. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is William with River Cruise Experts. My wife Shelley and I specialize in river cruising, 12 forward English-speaking brands. We've been aboard 10 of them. We've sailed the Rhine with Emerald as late as October 2024, and then we were on Scenic ship in the spring of 2025. So it gives us a really good comparison to bring to the table to share with you today. So I'd like to share a few of those pieces with you. We are bringing in a brand expert from Emerald, and today I'd like to give you some insider access into some of the hard questions that I'm going to throw at them so that we can help you as a traveler decide which is going to be best for you. So to give us an insider perspective, I've brought in Margaret, a regional sales manager at Emerald River Cruises. Margaret, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. Happy to
Appreciate
share.
your time. So I'm going to ask you a variety of different questions, and we're going to start off with some of the tough ones right out of the gate, and then we're going to do a little bit of a presentation just so people can get a truer sense of what everything that Emerald has to offer. So the first question is, let's say somebody walks into a travel show, and they've never heard of Emerald Cruises, they've never been on a river cruise before. What would be your segue to kind of talk about Emerald as a river cruise brand?
Well, it's completely new to river, and if they've been on an ocean ship that's larger, river is completely different in size alone. Our ships are 180 or less, depending on the river. And you see land every day, and you're off the ship every day and exploring. So it's a very different feel from any ocean ship you've ever been on. And our inclusions are really great with airport transfers, gratuities, Wi-Fi, and your choice of excursion every day, along with beer, wine, and soda at lunch and dinner. So as a whole, so much is included up front with Emerald River.
And it makes it a fantastic experience. One of the things that I like to highlight for people once in a while is I compared a common river cruise brand to a very large mass market trip. And they were looking at, the French Riviera. So I gave them a Rhone River comparison, and they were looking at a mass market that was half the price or even less. And by the time you add in drinks, and you add in excursions, and you add in Wi-Fi, it was $100 different. So it's just kind of a really interesting experiment to go through. But, river cruising just prices a little bit differently and has all those inclusions right up front.
Right. We often have guests that will not pay anything additional getting off the ship unless they go to the spa or, have some more wine or cocktails in the evening. There's not a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to even get out your wallet when you're on the river cruise ship.
We don't even take credit cards.
That's great.
We don't. No, when you board, no. Well.
So Emerald kind of sits in a unique space inside the market. It's not budget.
Yes.
They're not ultra luxury. So what would you say genuinely differentiates Emerald from the rest of the field? And we can also throw in a little bit about Scenic.
Yep. So we are really kind of modern luxury. Our ships are so light and airy. You'll see some more pictures coming up. Like I said, with our excursions, we do include one, if not your choice of a few every day. And Emerald tends to be a little younger and more active. We do have e-bikes on board, so we'll have hiking and biking tours you can choose from, along with the traditional sort of walking tour. We always do offer a few more additional excursions that can be purchased, but they're not at the same time the other excursions are happening, so it's not like you have to choose between them. It's just more of an additional option if you'd like. For example, in Koblenz, you're right there on the Rhine and Moselle, so you could choose an additional excursion up the Moselle, but up front is just so nice and included. And we are an Australian-owned brand, so you see a lot of that come through. We're privately owned still, and our owners, Glenn and Karen Maroney, are the designers of the ships as well. So it's pretty awesome to see all of their designs come through with these ships.
That's fantastic. I know that when we did the Rhine River cruise, I did all the included excursions and got up to Cologne, and everybody goes to see the Cologne Cathedral, which is stunning, beautiful.
Yes.
But I wanted to carve off and go do my own thing and jumped on one of the e-bikes in about 3 minutes and cruised down some of the towpaths right next to the river and had a great experience on my own.
Good for you. Yes.
Well, yes. And I had my in-laws with me, so I needed some breathing space. Fair enough.
Nice. You had
Yeah.
some, yeah. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about the actives in the excursions. They also have some hikes that people can go on based upon some of the different itineraries, but it is a bit more of an active experience, but not completely. I would say that the average age that we saw on board was probably mid-40s to early 80s. And so I would say that most people would kind of fall into that category. So the fleet expansion, some of the things that you have that are coming on new to Emerald, we talked a moment ago about the Sin is expanding. So go ahead and share a little bit about some of the expansions in the fleet that's coming up.
So we just had Emerald Astra. She'll be on she just launched. She's on the Rhine, Main, and Danube. And then Emerald Lumi will be on the Seine, launching next year. And we'll also be launching another ship on the Douro, the Nova. So very exciting. We are certainly growing on the river. So it's really nice.
Good. So the toughest question that all of my brand specialists love to hear me ask is, who is Emerald not for? It's a tough question, and we won't tell your boss what you have to say, but we have to decide what the personality and what the fit is.
Yes,
and so
absolutely.
if you could share a little bit about that. So just a real quick pause here in our conversation with Margaret. I did want to share with you, if you're watching this and realizing that there are more river cruise brands out there than you ever thought, there's actually more than a dozen, as I mentioned earlier, and you find that the right fit might actually be something different than what you're currently looking at, feel free to reach out to me. We'd be happy to have a conversation with you. We can walk you through the comparison between the different ones, give you a little bit deeper of a conversation about whether Emerald or another river cruise is the right brand for you. There's going to be a link in the description. I've also got a QR code up here on the screen. No pressure, just a free consultation. And when you're ready to book with us, our guests do receive some exclusive onboard credits that you won't get by booking directly. All right, so back to Margaret.
Because you know your clients, and clients, have their wish list and expectations. So our age limit is 12 and up. So we don't, river for us, there's not kids clubs, there's not excursions specifically for children.
Right.
But if guests know their kids and 12 and up, they would enjoy. I mean, in this picture, would they enjoy looking at the Budapest Parliament and the history behind it, and going to in Bratislava? One of our Emerald Plus is a private. You get to go into locals' homes to share some cake. Like, that's one of our included excursions, or it's our Emerald Plus, which is really special. So it's really probably knowing your child, if they would be for 12 and up. And then I feel like this is across river brands. It is active, so where ships will dock, you do need to be able to climb steps and climb over. Oftentimes they will be in port together, so just something to consider. You do need to be a little bit more active. I wouldn't say this is just us. I would say it's a lot, because you think, cobblestone streets in Europe, so things like that. Just knowing your own activity level for some things.
One of my introductory questions that I always ask any guest on any brand is about mobility. I feel that everybody across every single brand needs to be able to navigate at least a single flight of stairs.
Yes.
Just in case the porting. Yeah.
Right.
So it's an important piece. I've in all of my river cruising, I've never seen a child on board under the age of 18, but I have had guests that have gone and they've taken their studious child with them. There is no
Yeah.
kids program with Emerald or any other brand that's out there.
No. Yeah.
So it's, but some kids are just adept and they're great about going out and getting that world experience, and it works out
Yeah.
perfectly for them. Yeah.
Yes.
So Emerald is actually a brand of the Scenic
Yes.
group, and we call Emerald the four-star cousin to Scenic. So if you kind of want to go do a little bit of a comparison between Scenic and Emerald and what that relationship looks like, what some of those differences are, and how to kind of compare that for our client.
Right, so Emerald is what we really call the modern luxury. Like I said, so nicely inclusive, but it's also a very comfortable price point. So, so much is included up front. And then Scenic is our ultra luxury. Everything's included. It's the drink package, all your drinks, cocktails, juices all day, minibar, butler service. There's more dining option and room service. So it's just more elevated service, certainly, and more some amenities. We have a salt therapy lounge on Scenic River, and it just is it's a really more elevated experience with a lot more inclusions, some more options for excursions, certainly sometimes up to 3. So your choice of them. So yeah,
Right.
it's
I really enjoyed the pool on these ships. Having it inside instead of being most brands that do have a pool will put it up on the sun deck.
yes.
Emerald's got it inside, covered,
do.
and it turns into a cinema, which I just found to be completely fascinating.
Yes,
Even
we'll
though
get
we
to
were
some
wiped
pictures
out
on
and
that
didn't
too.
see any of those, but yeah. So
Yeah.
what I would like to do is segue through a few slides you've brought to share with us today, and
Absolutely.
give you the floor for a few minutes, and then we'll come back to a couple more questions after we go through that.
Sounds good. So this is where we sail now, and like I said, we'll have the Lumi on the Seine there in the north launching next year. And we are also in the Mekong if you are looking to travel that direction. And oftentimes we do include a lot of land pre and post for those Mekong cruises because you're going such a long distance.
Right.
So this is our nicely inclusive. It's very contemporary fleet. This you can see the pictures. It's so light and bright and airy. All your gratuities. So that includes even for your guides on shore. Of course, if you feel like giving them some more because they were wonderful, you can. But nothing else is really required there. Getting some more.
I'm going to jump in
spaces.
and say that's pretty unusual. There's brands that we would classify them possibly a little bit higher than Emerald, and they don't include the gratuities and some of the things that were included in Emerald. So definitely a high point that can add up to a few extra bucks.
Okay. Yeah, it's really nice. If you do the math per day. You just saw our Horizons Lounge, like I said, light, bright, airy. Here's the terrace in the front, so you can enjoy some light bites, especially in the morning. We'll do, a few of early risers. They can have some light bites before breakfast.
Right.
And then our Reflections restaurant. So this is where breakfast, lunch, and dinner is served. It's buffet, but there's items off the menu you can order for breakfast and lunch as well. And then it is totally a la carte for dinner. And it's just a special space because floor-to-ceiling windows. So you're sailing along. I was on the Douro, and we're having lunch, and it's just I'm enjoying all the views as we go along too, not missing anything.
Right.
And so it is. Continuing with our balconies, it's that what we sort of call the Juliet, but it's the window that drops down there, so it allows more space in your stateroom, but you still have that balcony, so it's very nice to keep that space. But if you want some air in, enjoy the surroundings a bit more, you can do that.
Perfect.
And this is the pool.
Yes.
So great views of how you can see. It is a pool during the day. It has the roof open, so those sunny summer months you can. But think about being on the Christmas markets.
Mm-hmm.
That top will close. You can still enjoy the pool, and then it becomes a cinema in the evening. So it's an extra special space. And often with our continuing with our wellness with Emerald, we will have our activity instructor. In the morning, they could be doing stretching, Pilates there, or some water activities. So it's a great space. And this is on the Rhine, Main, and Danube. Really, the Adoro is the only one that doesn't have it because of the size of the ship.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty true across most brands.
Yeah, right.
And we sailed on Emerald on the Rhine in October, and the interior heated pool was just an amazing space. It was
Yes.
great climate, perfect water, and
There's
there's
a
no way you could
cappuccino
have done
machine
it.
back there.
Yes, there was. In a cookie jar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
perfect.
it's a great location. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Do you have any more slides, or was that
Well, I'm going to move on to our total fleet right now.
perfect?
So
Yes.
that includes Emerald Yachts.
The shocking piece.
I know. Yeah. We do have a lot going on for Scenic and Emerald Cruises, which is wonderful. So you can find what you're looking for. And then we've got those luxury super yachts. The Azura and Sakara have been with us for some time now, almost 5 years. And then we just launched Kaya, which is 128 guests, a little bit more space, but just wonderful. Think about that, traveling with 128 guests, even with River, tops 180 guests, but there's still so much space to stretch out on. You can always find a quiet spot. They're just wonderfully built. So in looking at this, they stay in the warm waters. So they just keep traveling with the sun. Mediterranean, Adriatic, Aegean, Caribbean, Seychelles. It's really about these stunning locations. And the difference with the yachts, while we didn't include an excursion in every port, because it's really about where you are. Some days in the Caribbean, it might just be a beach barbecue or just being able to enjoy this stunning beach. But we did include the drink package because you'll see here that some of these locations you really would like to have a cocktail, mocktail, juice, whatever it may be during the day because it's warm waters. They're wonderful. So if you're looking to get to a smaller ship, those ships that are able to go into smaller ports, this is the way to go.
And that's kind of the big conversation that we talk about for river cruise guests when they're coming over from doing an ocean experience and partaking in their first river. They want to know what's different, what makes this unique and different. And it's just the smaller ports. It's the smaller locations that you have the ability to go.
Yeah.
Very similar to these small yachts. They're just able to go into the smaller ports and visit smaller villages rather than pulling into Barcelona, Rome. Some of these great big spaces that only can take on those large, massive ships. So these smaller ones do get a more intimate experience, just like what happens on the river.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are focusing on these wonderful experiences and absolutely the destination. So, right, you really needed a cocktail, mocktail, juice up here. Right? Imagine being in the Greek Isles and just looking around, and
Definitely.
that is where you are. Oh, heaven.
So what other insider tips might you have to share that kind of helps the client that's considering an Emerald River cruise to kind of go in that direction?
Sure. So if you have already experiences, you get a feel of our brand here, and we certainly carry that over for the Emerald yachts, and trying to stay in that smaller space. My slides are all jumping ahead. But you're actually looking at less guests than what is sailing on the rivers. So if you are trying to get that intimate look in Corfu or wherever it may be, this is a great way to do a lot. And you'll see at the end really our absolutely incredible marina deck, which is the special spot for everyone to enjoy, and that's all included as well.
Perfect.
So all the toys you see here, they come out. You've got the trampoline. The sea bobs are super fun. They dive underwater. And kayaks, all of it.
Those look pretty darn cool, for
Yeah,
sure.
right. And we're both in the north, William. So remember when suddenly September happens and when it gets a little chilly and you think, oh gosh, winter's gonna
Hmm.
come, isn't it?
Right? The snow
I
will
need
be
to get out
flying
of here.
anytime. Anytime soon. Perfect.
So we are moving to the Caribbean in November. So
Okay.
thinking about, yeah, yeah.
Right after the storm season
Yep.
completes, yes?
And it's
Yep.
very cold for us in the north here, and it is lovely in the Caribbean. So they'll be
So
sailing there
sometimes
until March.
when we talk about these small ships with a small guest count, one of the big things that I like to help guests understand that are looking at this is it's impossible to be an introvert. I'm a very introverted person myself.
Hmm.
Inside of my own social circles, I try to talk far less than I do right here, right now. Um, but when you're on a river cruise ship or one of these yachts, it's just impossible not to make new friends. You're
Hmm.
there experiencing the same thing. You're chatting about what they saw today versus what you saw. And we walk away every time with new connections on Facebook. And it's just a really warm and welcoming experience that I find to be very, very different than
Yes.
any of the mass market
Love that.
ocean
You're on the same
experiences.
adventure together,
Yes.
and you're sharing it. So it's
Yeah.
nice.
So perfect. Well, Margaret, I greatly appreciate your time. This has been extremely valuable. I hope it's been valuable for our audience. I think the viewers are going to have some new talking points between themselves to see how Emerald comes out differently, and be happy to visit with them about an experience here in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So this has been part of the Brand Conversation series here on River Cruise Experts. We've got conversations with Scenic, Riviera, Alma Waterways, and so many more that are scheduled coming soon. So feel free to like, subscribe, and throw some comments down below. Be happy to answer each one of those. If Emerald has caught your attention, or if you realize you need some more information helping to navigate the various options, feel free to reach out. The link is in the description below. I'm also going to throw up a QR code on the screen. The consultation to visit with is absolutely free, and oftentimes we're able to get you a substantially better offer than you can find on your own. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.